On today's podcast, we've got none other than a 37-year-old skateboarding British legend, enthusiast, collector of tattoos, destroyer of pizzas, and vegan pizzas for that matter, sober as a judge and doesn't give an F. We've got Eddie Belvedere, sponsored by Def Skateboards, Black Sheep, Vans, Dickies, Nishar, I hope I've said that right, Yeah Buddy Wax, and D's Nuts. So enjoy 50 minutes of me and Eddie having a conversation about skateboarding and life. Here it is.
Who are you guys working for? Who is this?
It's SkateWine.
Oh, beautiful. Did you say SkateWine?
Yes, sir.
Right, it is an absolute pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Eddie Belvedere.
It's me.
So
Yes,
good.
You all right?
So good to talk to you. Thanks ever so much for literally, I just was like, I've got like a free house that's quite quiet. Let's get on with it. So yeah, all good, mate. I see that you're in a new residence.
Yep. I've moved from the north coast to Cornwall. I'm now living in Penryn on the south coast.
Okay.
Got a housemate, a skater. The cat's just next to me. She's chilling.
Nice. You brought your cat with you.
Yeah, man. She goes everywhere. She to be fair, like this is when I first moved to Cornwall in 2013. I moved to Penryn, so I spent like the first year in Cornwall in Penryn. I've kind of gone like fucking John Rambo full circle. So.
So whereabouts do you originate from? Where did you like start skateboarding?
I started skateboarding in Salford, which is like a city just next to Manchester, in 1998. So like this year, it's like this April, it's like my 25th year of skating. Like so.
25 years of skateboarding.
Yeah, man, I've done quarter of a century.
What changes have you seen over those 25 years? Is skateboarding different to when you first started?
I think like the first year of skating for me was like it was the best year of skateboarding because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't understand any of it. I had no idea about industry or tricks or fashion or I didn't know I didn't know there was a scene outside of me and my friend just skating down the street or going down hills, or it's kind of like pure, you know, like we just go out and we'd just try and like jump off walls or like go down big hills, go as fast as we could. And like he then started telling me, I've seen these pictures of people in magazines doing like they do like flips on the boards on like banks, and we used to skate this like brick bank in this car park, but it wasn't even a bank, man. Like I drive past it sometimes now. Like I'm back up north seeing my family, and it's not even a slope. It's like it's the fucking mellowest shit. Like it's, you know. But like when you're a kid, it's like whoa, it's like a fucking big steep brick bank or whatever. And like yeah, you used to be like yeah, people go up, they like flip the board, they land, and they go backwards. And I was just like, nah, I don't believe you. Like I don't think it's possible. We used to think people beneath the deck and then jump to flip it, which I guess to do freestyle skaters, but like we thought that's what a kickflip was. Like yeah, you must have to roll because we're like there's no way you can like pop it and then flip it and then land on it. We like didn't think it was possible. So but then yeah, but that was pretty interesting.
So how old were you? How old were you at this age?
13 when I started skating.
Oh, okay, I was about 11, so around the same age.
I had a few skateboards when I was a kid, like little, just like kind of toys that I came across. They'd break and then I wasn't allowed another one. And my mum made me wait till I was 13 till I got a skateboard. Yeah, because basically when we drive down south to my dad's family, we'd go past this mini ramp. In Woking, there's like a metal mini ramp in Woking. We drive over this bridge into Woking, which is in Surrey. And I'd see this mini ramp and I'd be like, I want to ride a skateboard. She'd be like, nah, you're too young. Nah, you're too young. And I was like, well, when can I ride it? She's like, when you're 13. So it got to like the date, like the week before my 13th birthday. I was like, so now we're going to go get a skateboard, right? And she was like, what? I've been waiting like 2 or 3 years, just fucking like holding out. And then she was like, okay, yeah, we'll get a skateboard. So I bought this shitty Maui and Sons. It was like a £50. It's £50, man. £50 to me as a kid from Salford.
Massive.
£50 might as well have been like £1,000. I was like, fuck, as if the skateboard cost £50. And I got it on my 13th birthday, and I rolled outside on it, I did a skid on the tail, and like half the tail graphic like fell off, dropped off, and I was like, "Fuck, oh, whatever." Now I'm skating it. My mum drove me to that mini ramp because we were down at my family's for my birthday. It was raining. I had a pair of Adidas like shell tracksuit pants before people wore tracksuit trousers in skateboarding to be cool. Like I wore tracksuit trousers because I was a kid from Salford, and that's what you got to wear. And yeah, I tried. So I got to this ramp. It was metal, and I was like, right, well, I got to drop in on it. I didn't know what a drop in was. I was like, if I stand at the top and go down it. So I just started trying to drop in, and I fucking slammed so hard, just like wiped out, slammed, boom, smash. Whoa, what the fuck? Got up, did it again. I did it for an hour in the rain on a metal mini map, just slamming, smash. I ripped all my trackies. I was covered in mud. I was covered in water. I was like, fuck. I went back to the car after an hour because it's like, oh, my mum's gonna get pissed off or whatever. She'll be wanting to go. And I opened the door and she looked at me and she's just like, "Did you enjoy it?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You're covered in mud." And I was like, "I know. I want to go back tomorrow." And she was just like, "Whatever." Just and that was it, mate. I was fucking hooked after that. That was like the beginning, man.
That makes so much sense because I think a part of skateboarding is like taking slams and being able to have a good pain threshold, and the fact that you started at 13, your progression must have like been so severe. Like you must have been so quick because when were you first?
Yeah.
When was your first sponsor? Because from being 13 to like I remember seeing you. You must have been in your like early 20s. You were always in sidewalks, so you must have had a really quick like skate progression.
Yeah, yeah. But do you know what? What was weird was like the first week of me skateboarding felt like I've been skateboarding for a year. And then like 3 months into it was like, fuck, I've been skateboarding for 3 months. And like I think being young and like being quite sheltered from like what it's like from say skate parks or from like city streets, time as a kid, it a month was a lot longer than a month is to me now, you know?
Totally.
So 1 year after 1 year of skateboarding, I was like, fuck. Because I had friends then that were like, oh, I had skaters I hung out with. They'd skate like 3 months, and like my mate had skated 6 months, and I'd skated for a year, and everyone's like, fucking Eddie skated for a year. And that was like, that might have been 10 years or whatever. And I was like, one day we'll have skated for 2 years. Whoa, like, and I guess it's weird because it probably took me like a year to learn a kickflip, and in my head I was like, because by this point I'd bought like Big Brother magazine, was like the first skateboard magazine I ever bought
Wow.
because they had it in the newsagent. So I got Big Brother first mag straight in, then Thrasher, then Sidewalk, then Document, and like I just had all these sick mags, and I was like, fuck, there's kids in here doing like sick tricks. I was like, whoa. And I'm like, fuck, it's taking me so long to learn a kickflip. I was like, oh, I'm shit, whatever. And then I was like, oh, I've just got to keep trying, keep trying. And I think about it, and now I think about the tricks that I did when I was younger, and in the time I've been skating, I was like, fuck, I did tricks now that I could no way I could do now. I learned tricks. Everything I was learning, do you know, like it's the first time you learn tricks. And I've learned more tricks. I've lost more tricks than I've learned now, you know, like the shit that I've done, I'm like, oh, I did that once. And then I'll be, oh, I'll learn it again. I'm like, nah, no chance. Like, that's gone. Sailed.
So how old
But
are you
I
now?
was
How old?
38 in April.
Wow, 38. So when was your first sponsor then? In between here and now then?
So Wisdom Skate Shop in
Okay.
Manchester, which was in Affleck's Palace, which was basically like it was the spot we hung out on a Saturday. We'd all go into town. We'd all meet up at Wisdom. The crew would heckle us all because we were kids and we were like fucking idiots. And then we go street skating, and like my friend Rick Norman, aka Rick and Roll, he just had a camera and he'd film everything. He was just always filming shit, and like he'd be like, oh, just filming. And I didn't know, but every time we were going skating, he was filming, and then he'd go into Wisdom and go, yo, look what Eddie's done. Look what Eddie's done. And then like one day they're like, do you want to ride for the shop? And I was just like, yeah.
That's wicked.
What does that mean? And they're like, oh, well, you get this a month. So I could get a deck and a set of wheels or something. That worked out. And I was like, fuck yeah, because I'd started snapping decks. And like, I was like, wow, sick. So I was like, I get one deck a month, a panic deck, because it would cheap.
Oh,
And I
panic.
could get like, I think what wheels did I use? Some shitty wheels, whatever, cheap wheels I used to skate, like octagons or something like that. And then I could get that every month. So it meant all of a sudden I've got like every month I could just get a fresh board and new wheels, and it just made a massive difference. Like it just kind of changed everything.
So when you were like skating and getting filmed and stuff, it was never really like a thought of like, I'm going to get sponsored, I'm going to be pro. Like you just enjoyed it. You enjoyed what you were doing.
Mate, I fucking grew up in Manchester. I was split between Bolton and Manchester. So I grew up skating Bone Skate Park in Bolton. Tez Robinson was the manager. Andy Scott worked there. You know what I mean? I didn't know who the fuck Andy Scott was. Mike Sutcliffe. Do you remember South African Mike? You remember him?
No, I don't know.
Well, basically, them three were the most stylish fucking skateboarders that anyone could be graced the presence with. Do you know what I mean? I had no idea. I was like, oh, this is how you ride a skateboard. Just fast and smooth, and everything was just done with finesse and style. I was like, oh, that's how you skate a skate park. And then Manchester, the city, you had like Dan Reese, Keith Miller, fucking Gary Woody. So like I had absolute G's, and then there was like Danny McCourt, Schooley, Stu Bentley, Eastbourne Ben, Joe Gavin. There was like Joe Gavin was kind of a bit older than me, kind of hung out with some of my mates, but like he was like, whoa, it's Joe Gavin. Do you know what I mean? Obviously Grove. there was Grove, there was Brady, Pete Rigby, Adam Hardman from Blackpool, and like all these fucking heads who were like sick. And then I was like, yeah, I'm kind of shit compared to these guys. And then I was like, Danny Brady gets on Blueprint, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Brady's on Blueprint, oh my god. And then Grove's like, I'll tell you a good story about Grove actually, but yeah, Grove starts getting hooked up, and then Cubic from Scotland's doing Savia, so he starts giving us Savia shoes, but Grove gets proper hooked up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, fucking hell, man, I need to start skating properly so I can catch up to everyone else. Do you know what I mean? And then, I don't know, I never really saw myself as a good skateboarder, and I think I had to work hard to learn to skate.
So
it wasn't natural.
You were skating you were just skating with like a lot of really good, talented skaters then?
Yeah, the fucking best, mate. All the best, all of the skaters skated fast as fuck. They all had the best steez. They were all just powerful. And I was like, oh, this is just how you skate. This is how you skate.
And was this in Manchester?
Manchester and Bolton. So
okay.
Basically, Bolton's 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the city centre of Manchester.
Yeah.
Like, Bolton's north, Manchester, and you got obviously Manchester City Centre. Salford's kind of in the middle of the two. But I had no idea. I didn't know who the fuck Andy Scott was. He just worked at the skate park. And then I got a job at Bolton when I was 17. And like I was hanging out with everyone, and then you go around to Andy's house and you walk up his staircase, and then there's like boards on the wall, flip Andy Scott, and I was like, "You pro and flip Andy?" And he's like, yeah, used to be, yeah." I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, whatever, do you want a brew kind of thing, just like not asked, no interest in telling you like all the madness. And then obviously like you're a kid, so you start digging, you're like, what about this guy? Tell me about Tom Penny. I want to know about tell me about Jeff Rowley. What's the baddest thing? What happened in America? Tell me all your fucking stories. And so I don't know. I was young, mate.
Who was your favorite skater when you were younger? Like, who did you look up to? And then who did you skate with the most when you were, coming up through the Manchester scene and Bolton?
So it's weird. It was weird, eh? Like I had crews, and then I kind of like had a crew in kind of Salford, and I guess I kind of outgrew it a bit, because like it's kind of weird. Like I guess if your skating gets to a point, and I'm just like, all I'm doing is eating, sleeping, breathing, skateboarding, and I'm just like, I need more. I need more. And then I want to go and skate these stairs. I want to go and skate this shit. So like, and my mate's like, man, we just want to skate this curb. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the city tonight. After the like Wharton was where I went to school in Salford. So after I kind of them guys were my mates, but like I was hanging out with like an older crew. So there was like Leroy, Jamie, Kid Omar from Swinton, and they were like 18, 19. I was probably like 14 at the time.
Right.
And they drove cars and they were like raving and shit, and like it's weird, because they kind of like knew I was getting better at skating, so they're like, "Oh, come with us, come street skating." So on a school night when I'm 14, I'd jump in this punter with these lads to pick me up, take me out skating, take me to the spots. I'm like, "Oh, you should skate this spot," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's skate this." And then we just skate, and then it'd be like getting back at like 11 o'clock at night, and my mum was like, "Where the fuck have you been?" And they'd be pumping jungle, like, do you know what I mean? They had jungle tapes in the punto, and I just be like, what the fuck is this music? And it's just like, and then they'd drop me off, being screech off in the car. My mum was like, who the fuck are them guys? I'm like, oh, they're my friends. Like, then obviously I was getting better at skating, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go here now. Met people in the city centre, like everyone used to skate at the Gasworks, which was like the main spot in Manchester. So on a Saturday, Sunday morning, everyone would go to the G first thing in the morning. And then from the G, then you go off street skating for the day. So from there, we just formed this crew there that was like probably 20, 30 skaters who were all mates. And it kind of changed the Manchester scene from the old night, like mid 90s, late 90s, when it had quite a bad reputation. And we were all just mates, like a big crew of mates. Everyone was skating, everyone was progressing. We were building shit, skating, filming. There was the older crew, like say Woody and Dan Reese, Danny McCourt, Keith Miller, who we all kind of looked up to. But they were all super cool and they looked after us, and then we just fucking just that was it, mate. And then we just grew up on the streets basically.
You talk about your mum there and the fact that like when you first went skating, you were slamming a lot on the mini ramp, and then obviously you're turning up with these guys that are 4 years older than you, and obviously like listening to jungle and stuff. How did your mum perceive skateboarding when you were younger, and how is she seeing your development in skateboarding? Because I know it's a very similar story you have to me with that respect.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because I don't think until really recently, man, like. My mum and dad both they saw it as like a fad. There's like a little, oh, he's doing this, and then it was like, oh, he's hanging around with like wrong'uns, and like some of my mates they liked, like there's good kind of role models. Other of my friends they didn't like so much, and they kind of maybe thought they're gonna lead me down the wrong path. They were super against like any kind of drugs. I don't know. They saw weed as like a really hard drug, like a. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like as bad as doing heroin or something.
Yeah.
And then obviously that created a pushback, and then I pushed back. I was young, and then we were just bumping heads for years. And then I was just like, I'll just go off and do my thing, just skating, and just like I started traveling, and that kind of went on for years and years and years until I moved to Cornwall. And then I can't remember what happened. Do you know what I think changed everything? I think there was a comp at Greystone. So like a few years ago, it might have been the first one was the UK champs at Greystone.
Okay.
It was on TV. It was on TV, and I was in it. I was on it, or whatever, on the BBC, and like fucking loads of people tuned into that shit. People who don't give a fuck about skateboarding, but it's like, all of a sudden, oh, it's on TV. Oh, right, it's fucking like all my family. Oh, Edward's on TV, like. So I skated in that. Then that kind of created a little bit of interest. And then the next time there was a comp, I think it was Van's Shop Riot at Greystone. And I said to my mum, I was like, oh, you should come. We've got into the quarters or the semis or whatever. And it was fucking hell, man. Like that comp, he was in Black Sheep. Rick Fields used to skate for Witchcraft. I think he's on Creature now. He's from Wigan. He's like little Rick, man.
Okay.
He's Ripper. But at Bolton, when I was a kid, Little Rick was like that big. And Ricky Melon, we used to call him because he do melons. My mum obviously knew Rick. And I was like, yeah, that's little Rick. And my mum was like, what? And now he's like some fucking hench, fucking like solid, like absolute shredder. And she's like, oh my. And there was loads of people like, yes, Christine. You're like, oh, how's it going? And she's like, bloody hell. And then everyone's hyped. And then she watched us skate and she was just like, what the fuck? She's like, ah. And then it was weird, mate. It was like the penny dropped. And all of a sudden, my mum's like, oh,
Yeah.
she gets it. She gets why we do it. And then she sees the kind of companionship we have with each other. She sees like the community. She sees the love. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, fuck, it all makes sense. And then from that, like my dad's warmed to it. Like,
And it's a skill.
not,
There's a like big skill in skateboarding that I think that people don't respect until they see it, and then they're like, whoa.
it's weird, isn't it? If you see like a load of fucking grown men sitting on a curb in the middle of the street, having fun with fucking kids' toy, and it can create quite a conflict in their mind. They're like, hang on a second, like these are grown men, these are adults. What, they're fucking sitting in dirt, they're sitting on the floor like animals, and they're enjoying themselves. Well, they're not paying for it. They're just doing this thing, and they're all laughing. And like some of them are like drinking, and like, some of them are just fucking about doing like weird whatever. They probably don't even know what's going on. Some of them are eating shit, falling over, and then it's like, but they love it. Oh, they get up laughing. Oh, he's falling over. He's bleeding, and he's laughing. And it's just like, you got to think, man. People who aren't in this game, they fucking think we're fucking mad. And we probably are. Like, we are mad, definitely, but I am. All my best friends are mad. And it's weird. It's weird. I think it took my family a long time to kind of realize, like, to get it. But now they get it. I fucking love that they do. And I'm like, oh, mum, there's a comp page. You want to come and watch? My mum will come and hang out. And she'll chill with fucking whoever's up top, having a brew, just chatting. And then she'll be like, she's into it, you know? And I'm like, it's only took 25 years to get to that stage.
Oh, that's so good.
That to me is like more important. That's fucking more stoked than anything, you know? So
Definitely, definitely. And you were going to say you had a funny story about Ben Grove earlier. Can you remember what that story was?
My brother from another mother. Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically, right? There was talk of him getting on Blueprint before he got on Blueprint, right?
I remember him in a Blueprint video.
Yeah, he had this sponsor me tape. It was on like a fucking little cassette. You know what you put in a camera? High eight tape. It's Ben's sponsor me tape, yeah? So me, Andy Scott, Tez, Grove drove to London. We had to give it to Dan McGee, right? So Grove was all like fucking key at the time. He was like, yeah, he thought he was a gypsy, proper gypsy shit, like smoking embassies and like. But we were just like, shut up, Ben. Like, we were staying at Kubik's house in London. We've been fucking skating or whatever, and then we gone back to Cubes, and everybody was smoking. Ben got a bit like, oh, like he passed out. So we had this board. I don't even know if he knows this, so this would be sick if he hears it. He had this board anyway, and we get his board, and it's not even that funny, but we were recording this on the tape, on the sponsor me tape. And we just started writing, like, we just covered his board in like profanities for like travelers or whatever, and just covered it. And then we had it next to him, like we put his shit in his mouth, and it was all on this sponsor me tape. And then the next day we had to meet Dan McGee. We had to give him the tape. He's like, this is Ben's tape. And then we went skating or whatever. And like, I don't know if he knows that. But me, Scotty, and Taz knew that. And it was always just like, yes, we've got one over on the little bastard. Like, we fucking had him, man. So, yeah, so sorry about that, Ben. But you got a blueprint, so it's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember Ben Grove from Blueprint. And I remember when I first met him and when he started hanging out he was hanging out in Braunton. I was like, no way, the guy from Blueprint is hanging out in Braunton. This is amazing. So, yeah, it's interesting. I guess you grew up with Ben Grove then, did you?
Yeah, man. He's like, think first met him when I was 14. Then we were mates for a long time skating together. Because he was fucking hungry, man. Like, hungry skateboarder, like, skated comps. I was just doing 180 nose grind. I was just thinking of a trick he was doing. I was just doing it on the edge of my table. Front 180 nose grind down Hubbers at Bolton, blue jeans, Mark Johnson 2s, no t-shirt on, and he had a skinhead at the time. And he, yeah, he was just hungry and he fucking killed it. And he'd just jump off
Yeah.
shit and like just fucking sick flips, like backside flips. Just everything was like power. And then I think probably when he got on Blueprint, and I think that's when he moved to Sheffield, and we kind of like we didn't split ways, but like he was doing his thing, I was doing mine. We crossed paths now and again. Then eventually ended up back in Manchester. And then we were like, oh, we're just like old mates. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just I give him shit, he gives me shit. We just give each other shit. It's just nice, like so.
Yeah, amazing.
He's a fucking absolute skate geek as well, man. Like he's got like the fucking museum. Just got all the sickest shit. Like everyone's bought. He's just got cool stuff, man. Like skate related shit, but it's all like old stuff. He's not asked about anything now. It's all like from the 90s, 2000s kind of thing. So.
And so Ben Grove is now living in Cornwall as well, right?
Yeah, he lives in the Luggan. So he you know the house you came round to?
Yep.
He moved in next door to me for like a year. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to buy a house now with his girlfriend, Stacey. Like, so he got a house down the road, got a sick house, settled in there. And then I was like, oh, I'm out of here, man. I'm going. He's like, what do you mean? Because we had Snail, our mate, lives at one end. Grove lives at the other end. Snail's got a mini ramp in his garden. Grove's got solar panels on his roof. I don't know what the similarity is, but and then I was in the middle. I had a log burner.
Yes. Oh, that place was amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good, man. But I did fucking 4 years in there, man. And then I met Josh, who I live with now. He was like, oh, do you want to get a house? Oh, do you want to move in? I was like, yeah, fuck. You know what? I'm pretty keen to like be back on the south coast in like Penryn, Falmouth. So
yeah, nice.
It's cool. Yeah, I seen Ben the other day. I just drive to his house now and just go and watch the football and on a Sunday. Watch him cook his dinner.
Are you both into football?
I fucking hate football, man.
Who's his team? Liverpool?
Nottingham Forest, mate.
Nottingham Forest.
I like Nottingham Forest now because of Ben. Obviously, I'm a City fan, but that's just if anyone asks. But yeah, Nottingham Forest, I'm actually like quite into him. So
that's something. Whenever I'm travelling, that's something that I get asked straight away. It's like, which football team do you like? And I'm like, sorry, I don't actually like football. This is awkward. And they were always like, nah, you're joking. You're joking. It's like,
what? This guy doesn't like football.
So with regards to Ben and like Blueprint and stuff, what was your first skate part? What was your first like putting together, having to concentrate on?
Oh, my video.
Yeah.
Probably Dan Sintra, who he's a skater from Shrewsbury that moved to Manchester like early 2000s. Check out Think Tonk.
Think Tank.
That's Think Tonk.
Think Tonk.
That's his. Yeah. Find that tune. It's powerful. You should play that at the end. Anyway, Dan Sintra, he moved to Manchester. He used to skate Bolton. He was like a moody kind of hip hop guy, like, and he's actually like the nicest fucking dude in the world. He used to film, and he made. I think the first video he made was like Little Picture. I think it's called Little Picture. And then he made a video called Everyone, and then maybe he filmed the Karma video, but that was like the Karma video was filmed in about 2 days. So my section was like 2 days of just Avi just fucking. I don't know, mate. I've never really, like, in all honesty, I've never really put any effort into filming a video part until quite recently.
Oh, okay,
like,
that surprises me.
By the time I got to like the age of like when I was on Harmony, so I went pro for Harmony.
What year was that?
2021, I think it was.
Okay.
But I didn't give a fuck about skating. I just skated because that's what I did. I didn't put any thought into it. I didn't. I just all I did was party like every day, like partied and partied, and then skated in the day. And I didn't like video parts. People would film, and I'd just like, just film this. There was no thought going into anything. What was I was doing? Oh, I can skate this way today. I'll do this or I'll do that. I no no interest in like constructing a video or like thinking about how something's gonna work together or like planning lines out. I just like,
Yeah.
fucking whatever, just film this. And like weird, isn't it? Now I would never do that. Now I'm so much more aware about skateboarding and how my skateboarding works. Like I understand my strengths and my weaknesses now in skateboarding more now than I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck, man. I really did not care. Like we just partied. We fucking partied all the time. We had such a good time, and we just caused absolute chaos in the city. And we did that for so long, and it just kind of weird, man. I kind of like now I'm like shit. I should have put more effort into, like what was then. But obviously, I'm like, no, can't
I,
regret that. You can't go back and change it.
exactly. Like it surprises me because of anyone that I've skated with, and I've just watched whilst I'm skateboarding and I skateboard, like you're a talent and ability to do a trick that I wish I could do and then do 6 or 7 of them all in one run and then do another one straight after that and do 6 or 7 tricks again all in like one run is absolutely mind-blowing to me. The only other person I've seen recently with that ability is Oscar Meza. Like Oscar Meza, I don't know whether you've heard of him. He's a American-Mexican skater, and I went skating with him the other day, did a vlog on it, and his ability is so similar to yours, where it's just like trick after trick. You're just chilling.
That guy, it made me, when I seen them clips of him, man, it made me want to go and skate that park you were at.
Mate, you have to come out.
Oh no, I was like, I should go to Mexico. Yeah, I think I'm quite like that. I just like, you know what, fuck it, let's go to Mexico. But at the minute, I'm like, I've got to focus my energy into one thing because I've got to make it work, and then when it works, everything will be sick. You know what I mean?
Just to let everyone else know, we've just had a quick toilet break. Yeah, we've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say. But to get back to what I was saying, your ability, like being at Mount Hawk, I remember being at Mount Hawk in the summer and just watching you, and it's just like, man, one of your tricks I wish I could do, and you're doing like 6 or 7 in a row. And is that just how you skate? You just are doing trick after trick, not really thinking about it?
I think when I skate the skate park, I've got no interest in like trying. I won't try a trick. Say like, I'm not going to spend 2 hours learning a trick because what's the fucking point? Like, if I go to a skate park, I just want to skate. So I use skateboarding as kind of like I do it because like I like doing it. So I'll do things which I know I can do within a few goes, and I'll just be like, oh, this works today. Oh, what's working? Oh, my nollies are good today. Or this trick's working. So you kind of know what's working or what you're feeling. And then as the session progresses and you get warmed up, you're like, oh, okay, right. You get into the motion. I think now I understand skateboarding a lot more than I ever did when I was younger. When I was learning all the tricks, I was learning and I've got to do this trick now, I've got to do that trick. And then I was like, I can do these tricks. And now I was like, I'm just going to get fucked out of my head all the time and not care about anything, not really be that interested, be sponsored, but probably like could have put more effort in and like tried and looked after myself and like kind of been a bit more conscious about like what I was doing to my body. And like it's weird, whereas what happened was I think like 6 or 7 years ago I had a girlfriend for like 9 years. She split up with me, yeah. Oh no, she left me. she broke my heart, bro. And like, so obviously, like straight away, I'm like, right, okay, hit the bottle, like, and I was like, session, just, I'm so depressed, just like not doing fuck all. And then she said something to me. Hope she fucking hears this. She'll love it. And she said to me, she said, well, just think now you can you can really concentrate on your skating. And I was just like, you fucking mad. I'm 30 years old. I was like, I'm fucking 30. Like, what the fuck? Concentrate on my skating. I was just like, the whole reason I came here was because of you. Like, I left my job. I left Manchester. I fucked off loads of, like, kind of opportunities that were coming up, like
Yeah.
trips, comps, shit like that. And fuck it. I got a girlfriend. She's the one. It's all good. I was naive. I was in my 20s. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I can skate, fuck about, hang around, not rich, I'll just do that. Everything was all right. And then she left, and it wasn't. And she said that to me, and I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck you. I was just like, yeah, fucking all right. I'm gonna do it for me now. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And then my friend, I was with two of my friends on New Year's Eve, and this is the last time I ever drank. And I was partying, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was just doing whatever. I had all this booze and whatever. And my friend booked a ticket to Barcelona for a month's time. So it was the 1st of February, we were going to Barcelona, and he booked a 10-day ticket. And I was sat there and I was like, oh, if I go like this, I'm not going to be able to skate. I said, I need to go to Barcelona. I need to be able to skate the best I can skate. So I said, when all this booze is gone tomorrow, I'm going to stop drinking. And then I was like, okay. And I stopped drinking that day. And I've not drank since then. And
I
that's
didn't
like
realise that.
7 years ago, 6 years ago.
Was that
I
a
don't
trip
know.
with Bozza?
No, it's me, Adam Saleas, and Danny Parker. It's just the
Oh,
three
okay.
of us, yeah.
So you're not drunk
And
for 7 years?
6 or 7 years. Must be 7 years.
Wow.
I think it's seven. How old am I? Yeah, it's 7 years. It must. Hang on a second. 6 years. I have no idea. I don't
That's
care.
amazing. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
drink. I
Well,
don't drink anyway. Whatever.
I'm kind of thinking that I might go back to it because I did 18 months of the last couple of like 3 years, what we've just been through. And I can't, how quickly you heal. Like if you like have a shinner or you twist your ankle, and then like if you've been drinking, your body takes so long to heal. Have you found that?
I find what's worked to my advantage is like my diet. Since I was 18, I stopped eating meat,
I
and
was
I
going
was
to ask
kind
about
of
your diet.
quite conscious about my diet. I've abused my body in like mad ways. Like it's weird because what I always did, no matter what I'd been doing the night before, I'd always go and skate. I'd go and skate and I'd sweat and I'd skate and I'd fucking have a session, and then come a few hours later, I'd come round. I wouldn't sit being like,
Like
got a
monging
headache.
out.
I just be like, nah, fuck that. Let's go out and skate or let's do something. Keep drinking, whatever. And I think that helped me because I'd like get shit out of my system. I wouldn't leave whatever's in me. I'd get it out of me. It's weird, man. Like, and now I see some of my friends and how it's alcohol's fucked, mate. Alcohol, I think, is the worst drink and the worst drink.
Well,
It's
that's
the
true.
worst drug. It's by far the worst drug, and it's
Yep.
so socially accepted. And I might sound like some fucking prick who doesn't drink or whatever, but I'm like, alcohol as a drug is definitely up there with the worst drugs.
Do you remember Professor Nutt? Professor Nutt was
Professor
he was one of the scientific advisor for the Labour government, probably about 12 years ago, and I think it was under
Okay.
Gordon Brown, and he did a scientific like chart of like how dangerous drugs are, and when he released this paid government document, it ended up being that like tobacco and alcohol were like coming above like obviously other drugs that were illegal, and it was like. I remember this. I just remember the news so much.
Scrap the plans, scrap it.
They fired him.
You know-
They fired him.
Shit.
I don't know if I have to. I don't know if I have to say this because it goes on Spotify, but we are not giving health advice right now.
Was it going on Spotify?
Yeah, it's going on Spotify now. It's going to be interesting to see if I can like click on explicit because the topics that we're covering are really interesting, but they're definitely for a mature audience.
Well, drinking. Okay, this is. I suggest if you can drink in moderation. Moderation is key. Balance is key.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, like if you can drink and then put the drink down and stop and be like, okay, yeah, I've had enough, then that's rad. Like that's cool. But like I can't do that. I can't do that with anything. Like so.
Do you know what the weirdest thing with me was when I was always like that before I quit. And then after coming back and being in Mexico in February and having like a couple of tequilas and beers, it suddenly became the opposite way. I was like realizing how people can get addicted to alcohol. And then when I realized that, I was like, wow, I need to like just try and do it socially now. And I'd like to go back to just a clean slate and not drinking at all. But the British culture is like,
yeah, my friend who's staying with me, like, he's not drank for like however long, and then last night he like met this girl. He had like a few whiskeys, a few half pints, and then mate just turned him into an absolute idiot. Like he's like this morning, he's like, why have I done that? I
yeah,
don't even know why I've done that. And then it's like every day he's super productive. He's like getting shit done. He's doing this. He's doing that. And then today it's just like, fuck. And I'm like, wonder if that's why it's legal, because it stops people from being productive. And it's like, rather than get up and get out there and like seize the day, I'm gonna get under my bed covers further, and I'm gonna get on my phone. I'm gonna get a Domino's, and I'm gonna get fucking high cholesterol. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
that's
whereas
so.
like if you ain't doing that, you're like, oh nah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get fit, and then I'm gonna go here, and then do you know what? I'm gonna try and learn this new thing that I've not done before, and I'm gonna meet this person I've never met, and then all of a sudden, like all this shit starts to happen, and it's like, oh, it's good waking up sober.
It's so funny. I met a girl in Australia who said exactly that. She was like, you've got caffeine Monday to Friday to keep you productive, and then to keep you subdued on Saturdays and Sundays, you've got alcohol. And when she said that, I was like, this girl was like 10 years younger than me or 5 years younger than me. And I was like, whoa, that's like kind of deep.
Pretty obvious though, isn't it? It's mad though. I have caffeine every morning.
I love
two
it. I love
coffees.
caffeine. I love it.
Two coffees. I just sit in bed and watch the sun come up, drink two coffees, and I'm like, okay, right, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
see what we've got to do today. So,
I do love a
yeah,
coffee. One question I didn't manage to ask earlier was, what would you say that you primarily skate? Would you say you're a street skater, or do you think that it's transitioned? I use transitioned, but you transitioned over time from being like street
everything's
skating and then
transitioning now, isn't it?
yeah.
Skateboarding is transitioning. It doesn't know if it's coming in this way, or if it's going out that way. Oh, it's coming back again. And it's going to take a turn. It's going there. Oh, skateboarding. It's like, do you remember Bill and Ted?
No, I don't know what Bill and Ted is.
You ever seen Bill and Ted?
Nah, sorry.
Excellent adventure. Oh my god. Oh, you need to watch Bill and Ted. Anyway, it's about time traveling, and they get in these phone boxes, and they travel through the fucking the what do they call that? The timelines, and all the timelines like they all run across each other, and they all like link and whatever. And that's just skateboarding, isn't it? It's just like, and that's, do you know what you said earlier about, is skateboarding the same as when you started it? When's the best time in your skateboarding? And that's why I'm just like, when you're a kid and you start, you're like a little boy or whatever, a little girl, whatever you are when you start skating, you're like little, you're a kid, and it's just like, fuck, it's so free, so sick, and
It's
it's
all new.
everything. And you're not doing anything with any intent of affecting anybody around you. And this is what I want to say, yeah. When I started skateboarding, I rode a skateboard because it made me feel happy. It used to annoy people on the streets, but I didn't ride a skateboard to affect, make people unhappy, or because because of who I was. It's like, this is a sick fucking toy. This is so fun. Like, oh my god, look how fast I'm going. Oh, I'm out of control. Oh, like I just, there's these other guys doing this. I hung out with these people. Like, there was no like, the last thing in my head was doing something because I fitted into a certain demographic. You know, I was just a fucking kid on the streets who, like, skateboarding, sick. Look at these, like, do you know what I mean? It's such an amazing thing. And now skateboarding, now to me skateboarding, now I can have as much fun skating with like a 5-year-old kid who's just fucking having it, like little Kit, man, like skate with Kit, and it's like he's just like cheeky little kid, and he's just fucking. He's got so much control and understanding of his skateboard, and it's like I skate with him session. He's more fun than some fucking serious fucking cool guy who thinks he's like 10 men or whatever. It's like, mate, you're riding a fucking skateboard. It's a piece of wood with wheels on the bottom. It's a kid's toy. Like, you ain't cool. You're a fucking geek. Doesn't matter what you dress. Doesn't matter how you paint your nails. Whatever, yeah? You're riding a fucking piece of wood with wheels on the bottom of it. Get over yourself. Who gives a shit? Like, skateboarding, it is whatever you make it is, yeah? And that's like, you skate, I don't know. I'll go skate on my own now. I never used to skate on my own. Like, last night I skate on my own. Skate on my own all the time. And I'll just be like, fuck it, no one's skating. So I'll just go to a skate park and I'll skate on my own. And I'm like, I don't care. Oh, there's a crew there. I seen some guys last night in the park. Oh, yeah, these are sick guys. I'll skate with these guys. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Or I'll go to another city on my own because I don't know. Now I'm like, fuck it. If you ain't got a crew around you, there's not people doing it. Because you get older and everyone changes and like, everyone's got stuff going on. And like, I'm fortunate where I'm like, I'm going to get a cheeky skate in it. Oh, people are busy or people are going somewhere else. So I'm like, and then I'm like, this kid's skating here. Fuck, let's skate with this kid. Sick. Rad. Oh, who's this person I've never met before? Oh, cool. That's a good trick. Whatever. And like, and that's what I'm like, fucking yeah, sick. Rad. Skateboarding. It's the best. It's just like, and like I'm saying, the time tubes, man, they're like, oh, blah, blah, coming in every angle. Oh, this is skateboarding. This is why I think skateboarding's great. So it's like, yo, fuck you, skateboarding's mine. You weren't there. You weren't there 10 years ago. It's like, well, fuck you, man. I've been skateboarding for 40 years. You guys are ruining it for me. It's like, fuck you. Who gives a shit? Just ride your skateboard. Stop arguing with each other. Everyone, just get on with it. You're not got nothing nice to say to anyone. You're going to bicker and bitch and moan about stuff. Just leave it. Who cares?
I think it's just a highlight. Yeah, definitely. But what is your favourite obstacle?
Life.
Oh, that was perfect. Right, final question for you, Eddie, just to round up. Right, what's your future plans?
I'm going to grow as a human. I'm going to keep trying to learn and understand what's going on around me, myself, my surroundings. I'm going to try and just spread a good message, kind of give back what I've been given from skateboarding, because I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm pretty lucky to have been given what I've been given out of it. And I'm lucky to have met the people who I've met through skateboarding. And now it's time to be like, I've been doing this a while. Now it's time to go, okay, this is what it's about. So tomorrow I'm going on a skate mission, going back to Portsmouth, taking George, Lucas, Conrad.
George,
so they're like 14-year-old skaters from Cornwall. Obviously, you all know who George O'Neill is. All absolute fucking rippers. And then my mate Ed, who's like from fucking London, but lives in Cornwall now, he's coming with us. We're going to drive to Portsmouth tomorrow, skate the new park at Pitt Street for like 2 days. Just hang out with the locals, session, Skinner, the owner, like, he's going to put us up. We're going to fucking hang out with him and his Mrs. Jenner and just, like, get the kids to meet fucking new people. Because, like, whenever we go on a mission, it's like, oh, meet this guy. Meet this person here. This person's, like, rad. And then, like, do you know what I mean? Do what the older skaters did for us when we were younger and just...
Exactly.
Kind of...
I should have probably asked, what do you do? What are you doing at the moment?
I'm unemployed, man.
You're not teaching?
Nah, I left Mount Hawk.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that. When did you leave Mount Hawk?
Yeah, I handed my resignation in.
Ah, no way. I didn't realise that because I was going to say, and obviously...
It was making me ill, man.
Yes,
it was making
a lot of stress.
Yeah, it wasn't good for me. Like, like the last year, man, it's been shit. Like, it's been bad. I got really weird. Like, I've never suffered from stress before, and then I kind of like was digging into it. I kind of slipped into some bad habits, and I was just like, I'm like actually ill. Like I'm suffering with like stress. I was like, what is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stress that you talk about? And then I was like, oh, okay. How is this affecting me? And this comes back to the skating thing. Like, it was affecting my skating, and it was kind of ruining my skating. And I wasn't putting any. The last year might as well be a write off for skating. Like, I've kind of been slacking. And I was like, fuck, I need to make a change. So I resigned. I left the skate park, and then it's weird, eh? The moment I did that, like instantly, I'm like, ah, everything's changed. Things start happening again, and like I broke this like cycle. I was in this weird loop of just like a hamster on a treadmill, just like
Yeah.
just existing. And then yeah, I made a change, and it was really difficult because I've been at the skate park for 4 years. All the kids I've met, all the lessons I've taught, all the people I've hung out with, all the sessions I've been involved in, all the jams I put on, like all the hype, mate. Because some of the sessions were rad. We had the best times, like always having laughs with the kids, like
Yeah.
doing stupid shit, chili challenges or whatever, like scaring people and just having a fucking good time and like making skateboarding, showing it in the best possible light in that place.
Are you,
And
are you still
it
going to
was
do
hard.
lessons?
Yeah, I still teach skating if people want to learn to skate. I do it anyway, man. Like if I see someone skating, I'm like, oh, you should put your foot there, or maybe try and hold your body here, or just, I can. It's weird, isn't it? I can watch people skating, like, oh, you should just little tweaks, and yeah, it's weird, man. But you know what? Like that decision was like one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, and I made it, and it's the best decision I could have made because now I'm like,
Start
going that
focusing on
way.
other things. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to say I'm gutted to hear that, but at the same time, like I can understand it. But the like level of like I guess admiration and respect that I've seen from other people when I've been going down to Mount Hawke and down to Cornwall for you, kind of is like a compliment within itself in the fact that like you can see how like that's what I love about skateboarding is how the different age groups interact with people like us and yourself and how like positive
yeah,
it is and like how much respected you are by little kid who's 5 and then by a parent who's like in their 40s or 50s who maybe even still
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
skating. So it's a bit
Yeah,
of a shame to hear that, but at the same time, no doubt you've got plans for the future.
yeah. And I think like the plans that I've have and like everything's positive and yeah, it's giving me time to reflect on myself and like kind of concentrate on what's important and make positive steps moving forward. Now I'm like, yes, it's back. It's on. Like Eddie's back and I'm like, that's nice to be in this situation. And it's what I was saying, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like life is like
Yes.
you should get some diagrams in this if you can. Do you know
Just
what I
over the
mean? Like,
top.
it's weird, eh? So life's really like this, yeah. Life's like this. But then yesterday, I got my letter from the court through about driving too fast, yeah. So I got stung with a little bit of one of them, but it could have been worse. And this is what I'm saying about like understanding. I could have lost my driving license, but I didn't. I got to pay a lot of money, but I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I fucked up. That's my bad. Like, I got to deal with that. I can't escape that. So, but sick. I didn't get banned from driving, so I can go to Portsmouth tomorrow. I can go skating. And it's just things like that, man. Just being like, do you know what I mean? Life gives you lemons. Fucking
Make
suck 'em.
lemonade.
Nah, just eat 'em, mate. Bite 'em. Eat 'em raw. Fucking Van Grove that shit. So like yeah, I think yeah, it's good to be aware that like life isn't always cushy, but if you focus on that negative side to it, it can make it a lot worse.
Definitely.
And you're in control. Everyone's in control of their own lives, and everyone's in control of making their own lives better. So if you have an issue, you got a problem, rather than just fucking bitching about it and moaning about it and expecting someone else to solve your problem, like you have to sort it yourself.
Definitely.
And that's this year's lesson or last year's lesson or whatever, man. It's just like, right, shit, yeah, make it happen. Luckily, I've got brilliant people around me, loads of support. It's nice.
I'll round up there, Eddie. That was perfect. That was a really good. I think we might have managed an hour and 10 minutes, which is a fair
Oh,
old
mate,
whack.
I could keep talking. I had some sweets before we started.
So did I.
Yes, look.
Oh, that's so funny.
Got these tangy worms, man.
That's interesting.
They are
Interesting.
gluten-free, plant-based. How much fun does that sound?
Wow. Without gelatin.
Yeah, no gelatin, no wheat, so they won't make you bloated. Yeah, good shit.
That's amazing.
Very nice.
Right. Thanks again, Eddie. We're definitely going to have an Eddie Belvedere part 2, I think. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for your time. It was last minute.
Sorry about the swearing, man.
That's all right. I just hope I don't get taken down off of Spotify.
Could do like Morse code. Beep, 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 beep. Just pop it all over. Bad, Rob. Nice one for doing that, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Eddie. And we'll catch up again soon, mate. And yeah,
Radical.
hero.
Legend, Rob. Nice one, mate.
Take it easy.
Top banana. See you in a bit, pal.
Wow, that was Eddie Belvedere. Thanks so much to Eddie Belvedere. Again, we've got Sean Goff and Lizzie Armento coming up, and a number of other skateboard heads out there. That was a really good time, really good conversation. And thanks for tuning in and listening to episode 2 of the Wine Club.
Who are you guys working for? Who is this?
It's SkateWine.
Oh, beautiful. Did you say SkateWine?
Yes, sir.